Eponymous, I'm stealing your joke from my going live tweet. I'm not sorry. Hi, guys. Hello. Not show slavery. Hey, Wolfgang. Hey, Eponymous. Hey, Aiden. Hey, Nick. Hey, Eggnog, Weary, Jet Plane, Connor. How y'all doing? Better than yesterday, finally after some time off work. Here goes the moonboying. Well, it was good. It was good. It was...
Penumbra, fuck you.
Yo, Whiteborg, thank you for the gifted memberships, dude. I appreciate it. You know, it's... I went to go live and I was like, man, you know, it's been a crazy weekend, but I can yap to the boys about it and talk about things. And then I open my Twitter and I fucking... Hey, Lexi, how you going? Let's see, where's my link? So yeah, I haven't read anything yet, but I'm still just doing the gone live tweet, and also I shut down the document. I was like, should I read it? And then I was like, you know what? Nah. I can spare myself that. But yeah, this week has been a little bit crazy. This week has been... Shut up, me. I don't need two of me. I already have one of me, and it's more than enough. It's long. Yeah, I opened it a little bit. I only saw... Sorry, I'm opening up a Dr. Pepper. I only saw Buff Pop's reply to it, which honestly is kind of peak. It's kind of fucking peak. Let's see, let's do this and that. And whoosh. 7, I think we're at 8 docs. One of the docs got called out for being basically nothing though, and kind of just clout chasing, but yeah. Buff replied to the Cinder Google Doc with dude, fuck off, which... Very succinct, very demure. Yo, DSVella, thank you for the follow. Sorry, TikTok like 3 minutes before this. Oh, yeah, I tried to stay neutral and shit on TikTok just because I don't want the spread of misinformation to get out of my hands, but God, it is hard to summarize a week worth of bullshit in like the first 20 seconds of a TikTok. Let me actually hop over. Oh wait, let me get YouTube chat up first before they cry out about me being a dictator that hates them and has never shown them love, even though that's obviously not true. I don't show anyone love. Twitch chat is just a bit easier to integrate because the Twitch API is a lot more well behaved. Whoosh. Hello. It's me. It's me, Ponambo. Oh, hey Critters, how you going? Hey Season. So, I mean, okay. W's, I don't do news anymore, which means I don't have to go into the full drama mode. I don't have to be like, oh my god, guys, did you see? Let's read every single Google Doc and go over it. But it is kind of, dude, it's the thing on everybody's fucking mind right now. I'm pretty sure even people that don't do like drama content and whatnot, I've just been talking about this on stream. It's absurd. Because if you weren't familiar, if you aren't on Twitter, there was a whole thing of like, is lopification not working? Wait, where are you? Oh, shit. Yeah, wait. Sorry, I forgot to put up the bot. My bad. Tee-hee. It's fine, I can make it right. Dr. D, thank you for the 22 months. Instead of showing Cinder hate, Cinder people affected some love. They need your love more than Cinder needs your hate. That is true, and I do think, I don't know. The rough thing is, right, is when shit like this happens, you end up with fan bases going against fan bases and everybody's very angry. Which is kind of why I stepped away from the whole drama scene, because it always felt like nobody won. Like, it was always just like, oh man, who are we angry at today? Hang on. My joke for flat due to lopification failing, my net is ruined. I'm so sorry, Tortoise. My apologies. I forgot to have the bot up. That's my bad. Can you ever forgive me? Probably not. Where the fuck are the commands? I think the one thing I almost tweeted at the beginning that I didn't want to tweet because I didn't want people to take my words and like re-twist them into like whatever narrative they want. Yo, Black Cunt, thank you for the follow. But the one thing I almost tweeted out when I first saw this shit is that this is kind of why I don't personally enjoy the whole character playing like how do I describe it? It's why I don't personally enjoy the whole like I'm playing a character as my VTuber. I'm an uwu wholesome person and I would never say anything wrong, and I would you know that kind of character. There's a few of them around, and not all of them are bad people, because there's a few around that I do think are nice, but it's one of the big reasons why I've never really enjoyed the character playing side of VTubing. I know I was saying that in the pink bunny girl outfit is a little bit hypocritical, but I mean more personality wise, right? Like, and I know a lot of people do that. That's why they get into VTubing. They get into VTubing purely to play a character. I understand that. To me, I've always been a little bit put off by it. Not enough to like say it shouldn't happen or make a public statement about it. It's why I didn't tweet about it, because I felt like people would use that to attack people that don't deserve it. But more, nobody is that sickeningly sweet all the time, you know? There's not a person out there that is 100% positive all the time. And I feel like there's this weird trend where the people that specifically try to push this character that they are 100% positive, 100% wholesome, 100% sweet all the time, a lot of the time end up being horrible behind the scenes. And it's not a rule or anything. Like, I'd like to imagine, like, there's a few, I know Lily is very, very positive, very upbeat, and very happy, and I've seen nothing that would imply that she's bad. She seems pretty, actually, genuinely sweet behind the scenes from everything I've heard and seen. It's just, I think it is so hard sometimes to get, I think the crux of the issue for me is that it's so hard to get an accurate judge of somebody's character when they're putting on that much of a character, that I personally am like, well, I don't actually know what they're like. I don't know what their character is like at all. And so I end up being like, I'd rather go watch somebody else, you know? Yo, Movnight, thank you for the follow. And I understand that you can never know really at all what a creator is like. You can never know at all what a streamer is like. They're always putting on some form of act. They're always putting on some form of face, right? No streamer that you tune into is showing you 100% their true self, right? But you do have scales to it. Like, I am genuinely pretty upfront and honest. Like, I don't really put on a character. I don't really play up any personality traits. What you see kind of on stream is pretty much what I'm like off stream. And by that, I mean, I'm a little bit of a dick. Like, I'm a little bit of a fuckhead on and off stream. So I'm not perfect at all. I'm definitely, I definitely have my flaws, but you know, that's kind of why I don't push this sort of idea that I'm God's prettiest princess, because I'm not. And I think that's part of why, I mean, I've spoke at length about this so many times. Yeah, the difference between playing a character and playing an exaggerated version of yourself. Like, a lot of streamers put on and they like amp up their personality. They turn the knob up. Where if you hung out with them off stream, they'd probably just be themselves, but a little bit more dialed down. But some people would legit just 100% switch who they are. It's part of the reason why I've struggled with like agency VTubing a lot in the past, where it feels like even if the agency is crashing and burning to the ground, the streamer still has to be like, hey guys, everything's fine, thumbs up emoji, because that's the character they're playing, and that's sort of the whole vibe of the VTubing scene, is that like everything is fine, everything's great, smile and laugh. So I don't know, I've always had a little bit of a bias against people that put on this, I was going to say persona, but I don't want to start the persona jokes, but people who put on that sort of facade of like, yeah, I am wholesome, say so, uwu anime girl, and I've never done anything wrong. I always have a little bit in the back of my mind, it's like, nobody's like that really all the time. But yeah, it's... I think Corinne explained that they're an on version of themselves, which I think is all you can ask for. Right, basically that, right? There's some streamers that are like, hey, here's my entertainer persona, right? Oh, dude, Dimitri, thank you for the biddies. I forgot I had that soundbite enabled. A lot of streamers turn on their entertainer persona, so they'll overreact to bits and they'll make funny jokes and they'll be yap. But the person there is still the person, really. Like, you're watching an individual, and that's the kind of streamer I like. I like streamers that I feel like, not that I feel like I know I'm not parasocial, but I feel like, hey, this is just a guy. He's just trying to be entertaining. I'm not a super huge fan of the people that I'm like, I don't know who this woman is. Fumoko's probably a good example of some. I don't think Fumoko's like toxic behind the scenes. I don't think they're bad people at all. But they're a good example of like a creator that I think is very talented and makes very good content, but that I just, for the life of me, could never get into, because like, that's not a person. Like, the people doing Fumoko, that's not how people behave ever. Like, that's not how an actual adult woman wakes up and goes about their day, right? They're putting on a persona, they're putting on an act, they're putting on a performance, and I think that takes a lot of talent. I think it's important to not take away from the talent that it takes to put on a character and you know, do a performance like that. But for me personally, I could never get into it, just because I don't feel like I'm watching another human. I feel like I'm watching Dora the Explorer or something. But yeah, this week has been crazy, and it's been a little bit, I don't know, I do worry, and this is, I'm kind of happy that I'm kind of in my own lane, I'm in my own sphere. Like, I tweeted about that. I'm like, I have a lot of friends in the VTubing scene. I never fucking collab with most of them. Like, there's some that I've met through collabs that I enjoy and I value. Like Tippy's probably one that pops in mind, like in that, you know, Tippy, Varu, you know, everyone in that sphere, you know, I would consider friends, and we met through collabs. But a lot of like the close friends that I have are ones that I don't think, have I ever collabed with like Bree? Like, Bree and I are close friends, but, you know, I'm pretty sure she hates me, but like, hey, I think most VTubers hate me, but, you know, fucking Lopi and I never really collabed. I think we collabed once ever. Bree's the same. Heavenly and I have never fucking collabed ever, I don't think. Fucking, who else? Like, oh yeah, wait, Heavenly and I played Lethal one time, I think. Oh, and I was on one of his Drunk Risk of Rain streams. To be fair, that wasn't really a collab. I just hopped in there. I did not know he was live, and I just kind of started playing, and I was just kind of there. It wasn't really a planned collab. But I don't know. For me, a lot of the people that I'd consider like my actual friends in this scene are people that I've also like never fucking collabed with publicly. And I don't think that diminishes the friendship. I think it actually is better. I think if your friendship entirely revolves around collabing, here's the thing. there are so many people in the VTubing scene that are like, oh yeah, we're friends. I'm friends with this person. I'm friends with that person. And then the only time like you're able to interact with them is on a collab. Like you ask them to play the game and it's like, oh yeah, when are we going live? And I'm like, okay, you can play games without going live. Not everything has to be a collab. You can hang out off stream. Yeah, no, Lopi was on Oshi Talk as well back in the day. Who is the type to interact with people IRL? Hey Thor, how you going? It's I don't know. I mean, I understand a lot of it's the issue with making friends with content creator. Gabstro, thank you for the follow. Is that 9 times out of 10 they are busy. Like they are busy, which means if you're wanting to like hang out and play a game with them, they are gonna want to make that content because then they're like doubling up and doing games and actually making content and basically working. They get to play the game and work. Yo, Crippy Tree, thank you for the follow. However, I think it's weird because you end up with friends that you can never... Yo, Kixuna, I think... Oh, so I think I butchered that. Kixenua, thank you for the follow. You end up with people that you don't hang out with outside of the public eye. Like, you don't hang out with off stream. You don't hang out with really like a normal friend. Everything is content all the time. And so... Yo, Catboy Rui, thank you for the follow. It's almost like a pseudo friendship where you're friends publicly, but you don't really know them because you only really know about them what they reveal on stream with you. You kind of hang out here and there. You've seen them in collabs, but you've never actually sat down and be like, hey, what if we just like watched a movie, played games, yapped for like 4 hours, right? And that's fine. By the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody needs to be your close diehard friend, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it ends up, I think, with these weird situations where you have a quote-unquote friend group in VTubing where a lot of people don't actually know a lot about each other inside the group. And I do worry about what it's like at the top of VTubing. Because there's accusations, and there's always been accusations about it being sort of cliquey and a little bit mean girly when you get up there in sort of viewer count and whatnot, and that is a little bit exclusionary. And I think it's very hard to pass judgment on that because, for me at least, hey Cloud Dude, how you going? For me at least, I think it must be so fucking hard when you get to that level of success. Like what I just talked about friendships being like only in collabs and blah blah blah, right? I feel like that must be a million times worse once you achieve like a certain level of success, because how do you know who's approaching you to try and be your friend and be in your friend group because they like you, and how do you know who's trying to just use you for clout, right? And so I think I wouldn't doubt that at the top of the VTubing scene that a lot of them are quite cliquey and that there's a lot of in-groups and out-groups, but I also would argue that that might be kind of a necessity, because otherwise how do you stop people just like wanting to farm you for clout and wanting to be in this sort of quote-unquote friendship group purely for numbers? But I don't know, truthfully, and I'm kind of glad I don't know. I kind of stick my nose out of that. I'm not really involved in any sort of big content groups. I'm not really a part of any, like I have people I collab with, but I'm not in any of the sort of circles, if that makes sense. The memes that are going to come out of this are going to be rough for a lot of people. But yeah, it's... Part of me almost thinks that mixing friendships and content are a bad idea. But I don't know where I stand on it. I think it's so hard. I think it's so difficult to cast judgment on it. But there's a part of me that thinks that, like, hey, there's nothing wrong with collabing with your friends, and there's nothing wrong with hanging out with them. I think you should do it, and I think a lot of people that do it are very, very, do have very healthy relationships. But there's a part of me that thinks that when it gets to the point of, like, this is my friend group, and this is also my content group, I feel like you're kind of setting yourself up for some bullshit. Maybe not everyone in the group, but I feel like every other, like, group of friends that I've seen make content together, like the Vanos people, the mini lad drama that happened around that. I feel like, because the thing is, there's a lot, every friendship group is going to go through bullshit. They're going to go through troubles. They're going to go through disagreements, but when you're in the public space, everything is dialed up to like 1 billion. And so any sort of like minor issue in your friendship group will end up getting blown up to thousands of people, and everyone will pass judgment on it, and you'll have 1 million people commenting on it and your intentions and whatnot. And I feel like you're just not meant, humans probably just aren't built to mix both their actual close friendships with content. But the reason why I'm hesitant to say that is because I have friends that do content with their friends. They do collabs and they hang out, and a big part of their content is their friends, and it goes really well for them, and they're genuine friendships. I just think you're always playing a little bit of a risk with it. I don't know, it's difficult. But this, I don't do news anymore, and I try to stick away from, like, I don't do like the drama content on stream anymore, and it's why the thumbnail and the title is never like, oh my god, did you see the Cinder situation? Because but I feel like most people here probably have already seen it, but the whole situation is basically Cinder, or at least her manager Red, kind of tried to get their model artist Nano to be exclusive for them and not work with their friends behind the scenes, because they thought that the more work that Nano does for other people, the more models she makes for other people, the less valuable Cinder's would be. And she wouldn't be unique. And I think specifically in one of the DMs, I think Red says something like, hey, you know, the more that Nano babies there are, Cinder loses the thing that makes her unique and remarkable, which is your art, which I think is a little bit rough on all accounts. I feel like you shouldn't really be fully reliant on your model and art in order to be a content creator. I genuinely don't think Cinder is. I think that's actually a little bit self-deprecating, weirdly. And I think weirdly, and this might be a wild like way to go about it in terms of like sympathy, but I feel like a lot of these issues, a lot of this drama didn't necessarily come about. There is malice involved, there's definitely snaky behavior, but I think a lot of it actually comes from insecurity, at least the way I read it. Because Cinder actually is a good entertainer, and Cinder did in like a year, it's been like a year, or within the last year or so, she's done amazingly well for herself. And I remember Cinder was one of the first VTubers that I really made content on. Like, if you go back to the beginning of my channel, it's a bad video, but it was when I was first figuring out like editing and whatnot. My second ever YouTube video is about Cinder from like 2 years ago, and I think she's done, since that time period, since that debut, she's done so well for herself to a level that I think genuinely is an outlier in this scene. I don't think she could have done better for herself. I was saying this in VC the other day to some boys. I was like, Cinder got to that level of success where I genuinely think she hit like the saturation mark for VTubing. Like, there's a level of popularity in VTubing that I don't think you can really get over, which is like, it's like 3k CCV, like around there in the thousands, right? Like, you can go up to like 6k if you're in like VShoujo, and I think Mousy hits like 10k because she's like the biggest VTuber in the scene. But getting over that without being in like Hololive or something is almost impossible. And Cinder was one of those VTubers. She was one of those VTubers that I think was genuinely like, you've won, you did it, congratulations, you won the VTubing, GG. Like, any increase of popularity or whatever would have been relatively minor in the grand scheme of things compared to like where she was. And so I think she did amazing for herself. And I honestly think that she was a very genuinely talented entertainer, or she still is, but like, I think her content was good for what it was appealing to. I think she knew how to hit the right demographic. I think she knew how to market herself. I think she knew how to release like content at the right pace. Her and I guess Red, because they were content partners, did genuinely an incredible job, I think. And the fact that this was going on behind the scenes, to me, feels like unnecessary insecurity, because it's like, you've won. You did it. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone. You don't need to, like, the whole idea that the Red was saying of like, the more Nano babies there are, the less valuable you become, because that's what makes you unique as a content creator. It's like, Cinder could go live with a fucking, you know, a good example of this, right? is Kenji. I assume some of you guys know Kenji. Probably one of the biggest VTubers in the scene. Probably one of the biggest male VTubers in the scene. Kenji streams, like half of his streams are with this sort of like, I think it's his own like self-rigged model, or it's like this little PNG, not PNG, it's like 3D, his hands and stuff, but it's like this little scuffed kind of model, deliberately done to be like almost give off little gremlin energy. It's not a 10 grand model. It's, you know, it's kind of shitposty. I don't know how to describe it without being insulting while also depicting what it is, but it's not, you know, it's not a 10 grand very impressive model. The MS Paint model, and Kenji, wildly successful, incredibly successful. Every stream, doesn't matter. Kenji could stream tomorrow with a stick figure. It wouldn't fucking matter because he is the content and he's built an audience off of his content. Models can be very important in getting attention. They can be very important in appealing to people originally and getting viewers in sort of getting that initial demographic, right? But you are still the content, like, and your actions and what you do in your commentary and your jokes and blah, blah, blah. That is what keeps people. And Cinder was at that level where she could have streamed tomorrow with a PNG. She could have streamed tomorrow with a stick figure. I've seen VTubers stream just sleeping, right? They go live, there's no model on the screen, it's just like a waiting page and it's sleeping, and they're still pulling hundreds of viewers, because at a certain point you are your own marketing, and the model should be more of an event for the existing community, if that makes sense. Like, it's like, hey guys, I got a new model, hey guys, I got a new outfit, this is what your donations, this is what your support has been about, isn't this cool, this is for us. And it becomes less about marketing outside and more about like, hey, this is a cool in-community event. And so the whole commentary of like, Cinder needs the nanoless model to be unique in order for her to have her appeal and whatnot, to me feels a little bit self-deprecating. And I think maybe a lot of it, and a lot the root cause of this whole thing stems a little bit from a bit of insecurity, where she didn't fully accept, or maybe wasn't in this place to accept how good she did and how amazing she was and what she was doing. And it kind of took root and created this whole mentality of you need to win, you need to beat your friends. And the thing is, competition is big in the VTubing space. There's a lot of competition, but once you hit a certain point, I think you can let that shit fall. But I was saying this to my friends the other day. I was like, if I was at the point, and I don't think I ever will be, I will never be at the point where I'm pulling like 3,000 viewers, right? It's just not, I ain't that kind of entertainer. It's not the kind of content I make or the kind of person I am. I don't think I'll ever be there, right? But let's say hypothetically I was, right? I don't think I'd give a shit about fucking anything. Does that make sense? Like, if I ever got to the point where I could just go live to several thousand people and make a complete living off of like 1 week of streaming, like, why would I give a shit about what anyone else is ever doing? Or about like, why would I ever care? Like, I would give my model, you can have my fucking model. I don't care. I've won. It's GG. I have a community. I have a job. Everything's stable. Everything's fine. It is sort of like the capitalism thing, right? Where, you know how the whole, there is no winning capitalism thing of like, it doesn't matter how rich you get, people are always determined to be like the next tier of rich. Like, and it the same way that I've never understood that of like, if I ever became like a millionaire, why like people who become millionaires or big celebrities, right? The people who are like big celebrities, big names, like household names, who then still go on to do like shitty advertisements. And it's like, bro, if I ever get to the point where I'm making like millions of dollars, I'm a millionaire, I'm never doing anything. I'm sitting at home and chilling out. Why would I be out grinding, doing ad placements for more money? I've already won. I don't care. I'm like, it's the same thing in content creation. I feel like people are always so determined to be like, oh yeah, but I have 1 million viewers, but what if I had 2 million? And it's like, bro, just take the bag and just be happy you won. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's why it's sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Where I think in order to get to that stage of success, in order to get to the point where you're making that much money, or get to the point where you have that many viewers, or you're that successful, I think you do maybe need the mentality of, I need to be the best, I need to be winning, I need to be at the top of the game all times. So maybe it's sort of a thing of like, it makes sense that once you get up there that you keep grinding because it's what got you there in the first place. But that just ain't me, bro. If I ever got to the point where I could just go live stream Minecraft and yap for like 8 hours a day and that was all the content I needed to make ever, bro, I'd be the happiest boy on this planet. That shit sounds great. But I don't know, this whole situation is... I'm not going to read through the things. Again, I'm kind of sad. This week made me sad because I was... If you know, I've kind of been on like a good news streak recently where all the shorts have been good news, all the yapping streams have been about yapping about just me and having fun and relaxing. This is the first drama we've done in like... Since I stopped doing drama, which was like, what, 2 months ago? I think this is like the first drama we've really done. Like, we've talked about the graduations, but mostly in the sense of, hey, they're graduating. This is the first drama that's really popped up that I've felt I needed to talk about. I agonized over it a little bit. You should have seen me beforehand, before making the short. Because when it first happened, I was like, oh, I'm not covering it. I'm not going to put it in a short because I don't do that anymore. But then it became so big. It became so widespread. Like, to the point where it felt like every single creator in this space was talking about it. And then I said to some of my friends, I was like, oh, I'm probably not putting it in a short, I don't want it. And they were like, well, you're a news con, like, if you're going to keep claiming to do like news shorts, you can't just cut out big things because you don't want to talk about them. And I kind of had this very internal struggle where I was like, I don't really want to talk about it, but I also, if I cut it out and I just don't acknowledge it at all, is that not a little bit, I don't know. I feel like I'd get the claims of like, oh wow, so you're a Cinder fan, and I was like, I don't want that. So yeah, if it makes sense, like, I don't like covering drama, but there's a certain level where drama blows up to the point where it's like, if I don't talk about it, will people, like, it's so big and so space consuming that every single content creator is talking about it. And if I purposely don't talk about it, it's not just oh, this drama didn't get brought up, it's I purposely didn't bring it up. And at that point it's like, you know what I mean? So there's a difference between, hey, if two creators dropped a Google Doc between each other and that was it was like two creators beef, that's one thing. But this is like industry-wide beef, and but it doesn't change the fact that I don't like talking about drama, so I don't know. If you didn't acknowledge it, 90% of the comments would be, did you hear about Cinders? It would be either, did you hear about it, or why didn't you talk about it? And I get that already. I get that in a lot of my shorts of people being like, people kind of assume the worst of me anytime I don't cover something. I get comments like that a lot. Like if I got one about Nimi last week. Somebody commented on my short last week giving me shit for not covering Nimi's debut and not covering her new model, and kind of claiming that I didn't like her or that I was against. I think they fucking claimed that I was against HoloLive grads and that I didn't care about them once they graduated HoloLive because it was like this thing of Nimi debuted this week, dude. It'll be in the end of the week. It happened like 2 days ago. What do they fucking? And it's just, it is so hard. It's the same people, I think I've talked about this before, the people that thought I hated FaZe Connect because I didn't include them in news for a while, or some people thought I hated Hollow Stars. People thought I hated Hollow Stars because I didn't include them as much as the girls, which I've actually been taking effort to try and switch that up. I've been making a bigger effort to try and look out Hollow Star stuff and kind of put them in my shorts when I have the chance, just because it was an unconscious bias of mine, not because I hated them, but because just being in a VTubing like community with my Discord and whatnot, where most of the audience is like mail and do obviously follow like agency VTubing, I didn't get a lot of Hollow Stars news fed to me. So I've purposely been trying to like go out of my way to look up Hollow Stars news to see when they're doing stuff and put it in the short. But it's just it's difficult. It's hard. It doesn't help that there's shorts comments, and shorts commenters and TikTok commenters are maybe the worst commenters sometimes. Let's go here, get some music. They're just like allergic to looking things up. Have you semi-retired from VTuber news? I did. So the idea between the retirement was that I was going to give it a month to do shorts and see how I felt. And the streams, the quote-unquote news streams, would kind of move away from being news streams and just turn into yapping streams where like I might talk about things if I feel like it, but like the last 4 streams or whatever, we've not talked about VTuber news. We've just done like we've read SCP articles, we've yapped about things, we've played like not video games, but like browser games and stuff while I yapped about stuff. And I've been doing like video game streams on YouTube as well. I've been playing like Oblivion, I've been playing Cultist Simulator, shit like that. And so it's sort of like a soft retirement where I stopped doing, I just didn't like, there's a mentality that happens when you do news content, when you're making thumbnails and titles around news content, where you get the dopamine rush of bigger number if you include certain things in the thumbnails and titles. And that led into, I got like rewarded for doing news some weeks if something bad happened and not rewarded the other weeks if something bad didn't happen. And I could feel it playing on my psychology of content, where I hated drama, I hated talking about drama, I hated discussing it, it made me feel bad. But whenever drama popped up, like numbers wise, I did better, and I could feel it fucking with me mentally because it's like getting rewarded for something you hate. And I was just like, okay, we're not gonna, I just drew a line under it, because the short thankfully is one, it kind of just does the same regardless. I think I've kind of stumbled thankfully into like the one form of news content that doesn't require drama on the weekly basis in order to do well, because the last like 4 weeks have been drama free and the shorts have done as good, if not better, than they always do. So thankfully that was good. But the thing that was really playing on me was the streams, right? The weekly streams where I had to make a thumbnail and a title regarding around the weekly news, and I would have to go in and talk about it, and I had to go through every Google Doc, and I had to, and it also meant because I was doing a 2-hour stream about news, I had to spend like the week before keeping up to date on every news, which basically meant I had to treat every little drama as if it was this Cinder drama, where I had to read like every Google Doc, I had to follow up, I had to see everybody's response in order to have an intelligent take or an informed take on the situation. And it just made me want to cry. I hated it. It sucked. Because 90% of VTuber drama just isn't that important, but you have to treat it like it is. And so I drew a line under it and kind of soft graduated from news tubing, where I don't do news streams anymore. I do just chatting streams where maybe I'll give my opinion on something if I want to, but the majority of them are just me yapping about my day, my life, games, whatever. And I've been doing better, honestly. My take on content, my feelings towards content have been so much more healthy the past few months that I'm so glad I did it. Which is why when I saw this drama blowing up, I was kind of like, oh, you know? It was like a flashback. The cyclothon was cool. So yeah, I'm quite happy where I am now, content-wise. I like doing the streams on YouTube. I like doing video game content. I like streaming on Twitch more often. I made a Oblivion short this week, and you know, obviously because of the way my channel is set up, obviously that kind of short will not do as well as anything else, but it still did like okay. Like I think it's at like 10k views at the moment, which, you know, compared to the like 200k views or whatever my new shorts get, obviously is a lot less, but it's still a decent number of people that enjoyed it. and it's content I made, if that makes sense. Like, it's actually content that I was playing the game and I was the one like editing it, and it wasn't about any other VTuber. And I don't know, I've been feeling a lot better in myself content wise. And it isn't like shorts make money. You're so right, Aiden. Shorts are dog shit for money. Shorts do not make any sort of financial, what's the word I was looking for? Like, the amount of work it takes to make one short compared to the amount of money it'll make you is not what you're going for. So I don't know. I've been a lot healthier mentally over the past 2 months. And I feel like the Cinder drama kind of spiraled me a little bit because of just a sort of like flashback of, oh god, drama. But the ability for me to be like, hey, I don't need to follow up on every drama, I think has been great for me. I've been great. It's been, I don't know, it's been good. It's been fun. Shorts are almost ads, kind of, yeah, but I mean, that's kind of how I've been treating TikTok as well. Because TikTok, if you think shorts are bad for money, hey, remember Cookie Box, how you going? I am happier these days. I'm a lot more positive in myself. I kind of treat TikTok as just advertising, mainly because I've made zero money off TikTok. TikTok annoys me because I can't join the partner program for TikTok. I can't join it, so I can't even get. Obviously, you never make good money on TikTok, but I can't make any money at all. I'm not in the partner program, because TikTok sucks and it hates me specifically. So my attitude towards TikTok is like, fuck it, man. I don't really care. I just chuck things on there. I did see Cinder responded. I haven't read through it. I only saw Buff Pup's immediate reply being like, fuck off, dude, which I thought was really funny. How much money would you have made off TikTok if it worked out for you? I don't know. It's hard to say, because on one hand, some people say that ever since the like creator fund came out, that it's like £1 per 1,000 views or something. I know I've seen some people's CCVs be that, but I also know TikTok only really gives AdSense if you have videos over a minute long. So since mine are 60 seconds, they probably wouldn't clarify, since they tend to be under 60 seconds. So probably not much, which is the only thing stopping me from crying about it. But yeah, I saw people calling Shondo Nostradamus, which was really funny. It's... don't fuck your manager, please. You know what I was saying earlier about how bringing friendships into content creation can sometimes be a bad idea, because there's a lot of like personal feelings and whatnot that can get wrapped up in the public space. I feel like that should go double for relationships. Don't tie your personal romantic relationship into your job and your ability to make financial success. It's just gonna go badly. Everything that happened in 61 seconds. Yeah, I gotta really just... I'll do the version of YouTubers that are desperately trying to get to that 10-minute mark. New slogan is this week in 61 seconds. I probably would do that if I was in the TikTok fun thing, but I'm not, so... I have heard, like, I know some people do TikTok, like, they make money through, like, the subscription thing, but I don't do streams, which means there's no really incentive for people to do the subscription. I think I have them, but I don't think I've ever... Did I ever set it up? I think I might have set it up, but I can't remember. There's not really a requirement for people, because obviously I only release shorts. I don't do TikTok streams, which I've debated doing TikTok streams, but I've held off for one specific reason, which is that I genuinely think the TikTok comment section might be the most unintelligent place on the planet Earth. I genuinely think it might have the record. TikTok comment section makes me want to cry. It is... Dude, it is the most, like... It is the place the most allergic to context, the most allergic to information, but yet somehow the most confident in their misinformation. And it is just... Oh, Insta Reels is worse. I'm not gonna lie. other VTubers who do TikTok streams too. I've seen a few. I know Tippy does TikTok streams occasionally, and Tippy said that TikTok streams were actually good for her growth in terms of like being able to pull viewers from TikTok to like Twitch and whatnot. I just don't know. It's hard. Yo, Bilex, thank you for the resub.
People who watch vertical live streams scare me.
Well, that's the thing. How would I even set out a vertical live stream properly? I don't know if I ever do it. It could be funny as a bit, but I don't know if I'd ever do it frequently. Instagram, I've never really engaged with the Instagram comment section purely because my Instagram, and I genuinely don't know how this happened, please do not assume things of me. My Instagram reels became just the most gooner shit you've ever seen. And I keep occasionally going back to Instagram to try and fix it. I'm like, hey, what if I just keep scrolling? Eventually I'll stumble upon some non-gooner stuff and I can like watch it and try and fix my feed. So I actually go, and sometimes I scroll through and I find one non-gooner vid. It may not even be something I'm interested in. It'll be like some guy, I don't know, talking about cars. I don't give a fuck about cars, but I'm like, I'd rather have cars than what, like maybe I can use the cars to escape the gooner side of Instagram. No. Immediate next one is like, it's not even like mild gooner shit. It is like basically softcore pornography. And so I open it, and every time I'm like, oh no. And then I scroll and I scroll and I scroll and I scroll, and then I'm like, okay, no, we're done. Well, let's go back to TikTok. Because TikTok, at least my TikTok feed is a lot better. TikTok rules just don't allow you to rotate the stream on its side. I don't think so. I mean, I assume you could. I don't know if they could stop you if you did it on the OBS side of things, but I don't know what it'd be like. I've never seen a horizontal, vertical TikTok live stream. It's sort of like the people that make TikTok videos and at the beginning they're like, rotate your phone, and I'm like, no. I know it's a 90-degree turn, but I can't be fucking bothered. I would rather watch this TikTok vertically in the wrong aspect ratio and kind of try and understand it than rotate my hand 90 degrees. I don't know why. It's just like a little mental hang-up I've got. It would be funny. I don't know. I might try it at one point just because I'm happier content creation wise. I'm kind of just in my exploration arc where I'm just like, fuck it, we'll try this. Which, I don't know, should I announce it now? We're probably going to have an Arma server. I don't know how many people in chat know what Arma is, or like Arma, or enjoy Arma, but we're looking at maybe getting an Arma Anastasi server set up for maybe next week. Not a hardcore commitment, but like, maybe. So hey, there's that if you're interested. If not, fair, but that'll probably be like the weekend stream maybe if I can get it set up. Denial of involvement between actions of Red and Nano suck, so it being mainly Nano decisions. System receipts are taken out of context. Silverville was more her simping than trying to steal clout. Despite part of her being very zealous in IP protection, and all the rest is just apologies. I assume there will be I assume there will be like dude, there's already videos about it. That's kind of what I was saying about drama being, I think, bad for your mental, is having the immediate instinct upon seeing drama to start making a full-blown fucking video and just be like, oh, I gotta get my editing done. I gotta get my my thumbnail done. Discord kicked me out probably because I'm American. Oh, we have Americans in our Discord server, sadly. I'm joking. I guarantee you have a shit take. Yeah, it's engaging with the drama side is not. Which armor would be? Armor 3 Anastasi. It's the. Have you guys ever seen Russian Badger? You have a playlist for background music? I don't have a playlist. It's just it's Game Chops. So this is Game Chops. I can drop a link in chat actually. This is Zelda tape. All of my music that I use in my background of streams of my shorts is. Oh yeah, sorry, Soviet Wombo, not Russian Badger. Russian Badger is also. Badgers. I get Russian Badger and Soviet Wombo mixed up, and I don't think that's my fault. I don't think it's my fault that I get them mixed up because they are both Russia-related rodent. Soviet Wombo Russian badger. Wait, Wombo's an animal, isn't it? Fictional furry creatures? I thought a Wombo was an animal because that's his profile picture. You're telling me a Wombo is a furry? What does partial owner of GamerSupps even mean? I think it just means that she probably bought out a part of the company? I don't know, dude. I don't know how businesses work. I'm just an idiot on the internet. I'm thinking Wombat. He should have been called Soviet Wombat. What the fuck is a Womble? Why? They're horrifying. They look like the Muppets. Oh. I am curious about GamerSupps because I don't know if you guys saw. I mean, I probably being a GamerSupps partner myself. This is something I can agonize over a little bit, but I saw that there was like calls for them to kick out certain content creators that were expressing opinions that were a little bit concerning. Which means I feel like GamerSupps is in kind of a no-win situation here. Because if Cinder somehow, I don't know if they could even kick out Cinder considering she has partial ownership. I have no idea how the fuck that works. But if they like we're gonna try and kick her out, people would immediately call them out and kicking her out and not kicking out certain other content creators. It's sort of the issue that I think GamerSupps and a lot of partnership companies face in things like this is the moment you set the precedent that if somebody has a big enough controversy, you will kick them out. Anytime in the future that you don't kick someone out, people are going to assume it's because you tacitly sort of support what they're saying. And so the moment they cross that line and set that precedent, every time in the future that something goes wrong, they will be called, like, they'll basically be pressured into doing the same thing. And so people are saying that she'll lose her like GamerSupps. I don't think she will, if only because setting that. The only thing that might push it the other way is that I think Lily is also partial owner of GamerSupps. And obviously since Lily is kind of involved a little bit here, that might cause a little bit of strife, but they could probably pull all the Cinder-themed products without issues. Certainly just a small minority owner. But GamerSupps has smaller creators that are honestly more problematic. There are some GamerSupps creators that are, oof. And in fact, I think last week or a few weeks ago there was a whole movement about that with some people kind of cancelling their GamerSupps partnerships because of it. So I don't think, I'm gonna be honest, as bad as what Cinder did is, it's not really as bad as some of the other shit that has been going around for the past few weeks. So it'll depend. I have no idea. I don't know. I'm just a little guy on the internet. I don't fucking know shit. I don't have any insider info in this case. I have no background info. I don't know how companies work. I don't know how shares work. We just have to kind of see. Start talking about Wheel of Time instead. Yeah, Wheel of Time is a lot less confusing. Wheel of Time unironically probably is less confusing than VTuber drama. Yo, Harley, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. I don't know if Resnick's here, but whoa. Oh dang, double back. Oh, Zara, thank you for the raid as well. Double raid. Were you guys streaming together or is that just a coincidence? Let's do, okay, I'm gonna have to do this. Is Twitch gonna do the thing where it's like you can't shout at multiple people at once because we're a small indie company? I have to wait 2 minutes before. Oh, Itsy, thank you for the raid on YouTube. Why did I just get 3 raids back to, like, what? Hello? I got 2 raids on Twitch and 1 on YouTube. Itsy, thank you for the raid as well. You guys were doing Split Fiction together. Ooh, dude, Split Fiction is so good. I hope you guys had fun. Split Fiction is very, very fun. My dad's just that popular. Itsy, why are you not blue? Itsy, become blue. Oh, so Mum at Cookie Box should also be blue. You're all getting blue because YouTube has still never added VIP, which means I can't give people colors so I can pick them out. There you go. You're both blue. Thank you for the raid, Itsy. What were you guys up to? So I'm trying to keep track of 3 raid chats at the moment. Yeah, Split Fiction is great. The end. Oh, you guys finished it? Yeah, Split Fiction is really, really good. I played it and it was very fun. A few moments that are a little bit made me want to strangle the other person, but got halfway through the first Shrek level in 3 hours. Wait, what Shrek game were you playing? Wait, what Shrek game were you playing? I played one Shrek game as a kid and that's it. Oh, wait. Okay, never mind. I thought you were playing a Shrek game. You're playing Power Wash Sim. Okay. Somebody needs to explain to me Power Wash Sim. Somebody needs to... I don't get it. I don't understand. I've seen it played and I'm like, that comfy cleaning game with silly crossovers. It's for people who want to yap but have ADHD. Okay, that makes more sense. Because every time I've seen it, I've been like, that doesn't look like a game. That looks like chores. Which, like, hey, W. But I'm going to see you for the Wallace and Gromit DLC. Just watch. Look, I'm always down to try new things. I will engage in chores just for you, daughter. I should probably teach you about the worth of chores. I'm glad you grew up knowing how to clean your car, even though your father is apparently against it. You get a ding when you finish cleaning something. Oh, you didn't tell me there were dings. You get dings? Like a reward system? Actually, you know what? In saying this, I do unfortunately know myself, and I know if there's any sort of like completion system in there where it's like, hey, if you complete 10 levels, you get a gold star. I'd be like, I'm sold. Give it to me. Then in my or if there's any sort of upgrade system, that's what always does it for me. Like the whole game, just bigger shovel, better person. I like power washing videos. Does that work? Like I like, there's videos on TikTok that have people like power washing their driveways, and I watch them and I'm like, ooh. Have you played a game about digging a hole? Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Dude, it's like Cookie Clicker almost as well. Where it's just like, I don't know, longer nozzle, better cleaning liquids, other suits. I think my nozzle is long enough. I don't think I need a longer nozzle, but I thank you for the suggestion. Also, I saw you got your stuff settled on Twitter earlier. I'm happy. I was a little bit worried, but I'm glad things worked out. What do you mean, Dad? No. God forbid a white boy have confidence. Am I right, my fellow gamers? God forbid a white boy catch a vibe has been stuck in my head all fucking week. I don't know why. I don't know if you guys have seen that trend, but it's amazing. What is the other? There's a power. It got set out on Glide. I don't think it would have got fixed so fast without everyone still go boosting it. I'm glad it got started, because that shit is scary. The fact that there's no like smart detection on Twitch's end of like, hey, are you sure you want to go from not gifting any subs ever to gifting like $1,000 worth of subs? I feel like that should... You ever get that feeling with some like platforms or some programs or whatever where it's like, hey, we don't really need complicated security coding for this. Sometimes you just need like a common sense check where it's like, hey, if somebody goes from never gifting subs or gifting like 1 or 2 subs here or there to specific channels to gifting 20 subs in a row back to back to channels that they've never visited before, maybe that shouldn't go through. Maybe there should just be like a common sense check in there somewhere. And I feel like so many platforms out there could just replace a whole bunch of fancy IT bullshit with like, yeah, 20 tier 3 subs is absurd. Like tier 3 subs already kind of a red flag. Not that they're bad, but very rarely does somebody gift tier 3 subs, right? So gifting 20 is already like, I feel like there should already be a confirmation check in there. Gifting 20 to a channel you've never visited before is... I feel like it should just automatically shut down your thing. Also, the fact that you can just spend that much money and not once does Twitch go, hey, are you sure you want to dump $1,000 into our site? It does suck that with a lot of Twitch problems, it is like, hey, can you get their attention? No? Go fuck yourself. Sorry, Sweaty, you don't have the reach to get their attention immediately, which means you're not important to us. Asking a billion-dollar company to say no to more money. I know, but I mean, it's also just common sense, because I think they probably lose more money in the long run, because anytime there's any sort of chargeback fees or anytime there's any sort of thing where like a payment doesn't go through, it ends up costing them more money because they have to do refunds and also sort shit out and eat the fees and whatnot. Going through PayPal to get some of the protections the bank gives you. I feel like PayPal should be more, I mean, tried contacting them through their support bot and got immediately shut down and disconnected without even being able to talk to a human. Oh yeah, no, I had a similar thing with YouTube once before, I think, where I think I tried to talk to somebody who like knew content creation and I was like trying to talk to them about AdSense or whatnot, and they fed me through like 4 different people who each seemed to have no clue what they're talking about. Like, it's one of my biggest pet peeves, and I understand why they do it, because a lot of problems, a lot of things that people go to support for can be fixed relatively simply, but it does suck when you are, you know, a relatively technologically competent person under the age of 75 who has worked with, you know, the internet before, and before calling people, you obviously go through all the checklists and make sure everything, like, you go through all the publicly available troubleshooting, and you only call tech support or customer support once you've exhausted all the publicly available troubleshooting. I feel like companies need to understand that in the modern day, people would rather spend 3 hours on Reddit trying to fix it themselves with publicly available information than dare call a human being. I would rather scour the depths of the internet for the like smallest amount of potential information on my problem than have to speak to another human. I hate speaking on the phone. It sucks. I will avoid it, which means if I'm calling you in customer support, I've done all this shit. Like, I've done the turning it off and on again. Yes, I've looked at your publicly available troubleshooting methods. Yes, I've tried reconnecting it. Yes, I've tried inputting this code. I've tried disconnecting the Wi-Fi. I've done it. Please. Do you ever speak to somebody on customer support and realize, like, halfway through that you know more about the thing than they do? They're like, am I in the minority who usually calls pretty quickly? Probably. I think most people probably would rather look things up on the internet first before calling. Mainly because of my bad experiences, because the number of times I've called tech support or customer support and I've been like, dude, I know more about this PC than you do. I know more about computers than you do. I understand that you're probably a very lowly paid, like below minimum wage, probably borderline illegal employee who is doing this because it's the only job that was really available. I get that. You wouldn't be here if you could choose not to be, and that they probably gave you a bare minimum of training to keep costs low, but still, please. This is a real reason ChatGPT is successful. It really, honestly, it probably is. The ability of ChatGPT to scroll through public forums, because that's the thing that is lacking. I think that's the biggest use for like ChatGPT, and the reason that it's taken off so well is that I feel like 9 times out of 10, the best solution to your problem comes from like a fucking like chat board. Like it'll be like in Reddit, it'll be like in Stack Overflow, Stack Exchange. It'll be buried in like a 6th comment in one of these forums, right? And so when you Google for an answer, you get like 3 or 4 well like formatted articles written by like a tech company, and then you scroll down and you realize it's like the most basic bitch troubleshooting advice you've ever seen for somebody that has never touched a computer before in their life, right? So you go on there and it's like written by some, I don't know, IT guy, and it's like 20 paragraphs of words for 5 troubleshooting solutions that anyone who has ever touched a computer will have tried already. So instead, you go to Reddit or you go to Stack Overflow And somewhere in there will be the solution, but you have to scroll through like 15 vaguely related threads in order to find the one thread that is actually about. So having ChatGPT be like, hey, I scroll through all this, here's the answer I best think. It's not perfect yet, but I can see why people like it. I have to call, email, live chat, a company help service, whatever I'm working on is not getting fixed because I'm not doing that. Sometimes you need to though, that's the thing. Like sometimes you have to end up calling. I remember, oh dude, I think the most tilted I've ever been at a company that I had to like sort of call or chat to for customer support was fucking, I think it was Virgin. I'm pretty sure it was Virgin. Because they did the really, really scummy thing of you can sign up for something very, very easily online, but if you want to cancel it, you gotta call them. And so for like 3-4 months, I was paying like 10 quid a month for fucking TV channels. I actually got pissed at my dad for it, right? Because it was when my dad and my mum were still living with me and they left. My dad had decided to get the extra 10 quid a month thing so that you could watch football on the TV. And if you've ever spoken to your parents about something and you just want to like strangle them, trying to talk to my dad about like, hey, you are aware that you can just get this shit on the internet and it's probably cheaper than paying just so that you can get it up on the TV. I have honestly almost thrown hands with my dad a few times about this shit because I'm like, dude, I beg, it doesn't, I know you're technically watching something that is on TV. That doesn't mean it has to be on the fucking TV. You can get it on the internet and then cast it to the TV if you want the big screen. Please, I'm begging. Like, you should never buy channels from a like internet provider or whatever. Like anytime you see a package that's like, hey, 10 quid, 10 quid to buy 3 extra channels, tell them to go suck every dick within a 1 mile radius. It ain't worth it. You can find that shit online for way cheaper or just pirate it. I'm of the opinion that if the only way to access a TV channel is by buying some sort of bullshit sub package in an internet provider or a cable provider, you are well within your rights to just pirate that shit. Fuck that. They already have the bullshit TV licensing people over here, so you already have to pay to watch live TV if you want it, and then you have to pay more per channel. It's fuck. I'm pirating that shit, and you can't stop me. Fuck you, UK government. But yeah, I had to call Virgin and be like, hey, can I get this thing off of my account? I don't want to pay 10 quid a month anymore. And it's dead easy to sign up for this shit. You just go onto the website and you click, yeah, I'd like this package, and they add it to your bill. Not even a check or anything, just they add it. But if you want to remove it, you have to call them up and be like, yeah. And then they start like asking questions. They're like, oh, can we like knock down the price for you? And I'm like, bro, I don't watch the channel. I don't want to watch the channel. Fuck off. Leave me alone. Just let me cancel this stupid goddamn... I don't watch football. I don't... I almost crashed out. Yeah, I know. I saw Cinder responded. I haven't read it yet. We talked about it a little bit, and then we kind of moved on to me yapping about my hatred for tech support. Yeah. Oh my god. Bree asking Twitter what are the most cringy, overdone, embarrassing, boring things you see in books and anime. Writing the world's worst fanfic tonight. Any ideas on how to make that much better or worse? Oh god. Oh no. This is actually a really good thread. Sorry, I got distracted from looking up Cinder drama to looking up fanfiction. This is like my peak. Oh, now I have to remember all my little pet peeves about fanfiction. Oh, I've spoke about them before. I've spoke about so many of them, and now they're eluding me now that I have to make a banger reply on twitter.com. Why does the internet hate me? Why does my brain hate me? Oh god. What are you guys like most detested story tropes or like fan fiction tropes? I've read so many, you'd think I'd know more. Oh, wait, hang on. The self-insert original character. Character's like a dog, but when the fanfiction authors forget that it is like he grabs something and I'm like, it's a Scooby-Doo, he doesn't do that. Oh, when the character's like a dog, right, I got you. I hate angst for fanfics when the original content is not like that at all. Fair, valid. Hey Dark, how you going? A problem occurring because someone won't just fucking talk to someone? That too, yeah. Let's see. Breaking canon is the worst. I'm just trying to not rip your hair out of your skull. What about you? We're vibing, deliberately ignoring VTuber drama to talk about fanfiction, as you do. Let's see. There we go. Didn't much time in the last thing here for bed is pen. Shit way to end the day. Hey Fury, how you going? Bao responded to Twitter to Cinder's response. Okay, hang on. Let's look at Bao. Ooh. Ooh. Holy shit. Bao basically just called out Cinder's reply being like she's bullshitting and told her to stop hiding behind Red. Ooh. Yeah, sorry, I'm fine. I'm looking, I looked up the Bao response, which by the way is only about an hour old and already has 12,000 likes, which yeah. Yikes. Fucking hell. You need to cover this. You're the only drama tuber on shift right now. I don't want to. I signed off. I didn't have this. I didn't timestamp myself in here. I'm not getting paid overtime. I'm not getting paid overtime. I'm only getting my base rate. What the fuck do you mean? I didn't sign up for this shit. Find us another drama VTuber. I will DM False right now and tell him to go live so that I can fucking stop. Shut up, me. Wait, False is already live. False is live right now. What do you mean? You want a drama tuber on call? There's your guy. Wait, what is Camilla's quote tweet of the Cinder document? Oh my god, it is just kill the witch. Oh no. Do you think people are going to be mad to say this is like encouraging death threats or something? Oh fuck. Oh god. It's all going downhill. It's all going downhill, chat. I actually have my head in my hand. Well... Dude, Redacted is trending. I'm so glad I have my Dr. Pepper. It's working so well as my comfort drink. I prefer thinking about fan fiction. I'll catch you late, Fury. Thank you for dropping by. Who's Redacted? Redacted is Cinder's manager. It's the one I've been calling Red. Is his name. These tweets are diabolical. God, I couldn't deal with this. I'm just saying. I made a tweet about that. I was like, dude, if I ever wake up to 4 Google Docs about me, fucking just shoot me. I couldn't deal with that amount of smoke. I couldn't handle it. So hey Roy, how you going? Roy, why are you not blue? Why is nobody blue in my fucking YouTube channel? Here we go. Hang on. No, not managing moderator. Roy, I love you, but you don't get to manage my channel. I'm so sorry. No, I think I always have a little bit of sympathy. Having been on the other end of minor drama, like relatively, which was like 3 or 4 people coming after me. Dog, I already was having like anxiety attacks from that, and I know there's a certain point. I think I just can't turn off like my empathy sometimes. So I'm like, Bran, as shitty as they've been, I can't imagine the amount of fucking heart attack inducing stress that must be happening when you wake up and see that much shit going on about yourself, you know? And I don't know if it makes me like a beta bitch. It's weird. It's sort of like it's like even when somebody's very clearly in the wrong, and it's not like a sympathy thing where I don't think they deserve it, but it's just like a weird sort of empathy thing where like I see it and I'm like, man, if I was in their shoes, even though I would never be in their shoes because I would never do something like that, there's still a part of me that is like, feels, I don't know how to say it. It's sort of the reason why I was never very good at doing drama or like calling people out, because I would say like one thing and then I'd be like, oh, but what if that hurts their feelings? I've never been very good at confrontation. But I mean, and also I feel like there's enough people on Twitter that are going to be clowning on everyone that I'm like, can I just keep my mental intact? We just talk about fan fiction tropes. It's not even that I think it's wrong that they're getting called out. I think actually people are well within their rights to say what they're saying and be as angry as they are. It's not even that way. It's not a logical response, if that makes sense, right? Like, it's not a thing where I'm like, oh yes, no, we need to handle this differently. It's more just like an emotional thing where I'm like, oh, you know? God, Twitter sucks. Ooh, fanfics chat dog failing. You guys don't like fanfiction? You don't like it when characters are very clearly God's prettiest princess, but the narrative refuses to acknowledge that and instead keeps acting like they're normal people because they have to have the best of both worlds. They constantly want their characters to be underdogs so that you can empathize with them, but then they also have them do shit that no underdog has ever done. You do not like fanfiction? I feel like that's cringe. Fanfiction is based and cringe at the same time. It's great. I'm trying to think what other... I've ranted so much about fanfiction tropes. I've ranted so many times about... Okay, you want to know a real hot take about fanfiction tropes that I've seen recently? Right. This is gonna be a hot take. I don't like the fact that a lot of like BL or like you know, I don't know what you call it. It used to be called like slash, but I think slash ended up being like insulting. I don't know what the term for it is. BL is what I call it now, but like guy on guy romance, whatnot. I feel like every fanfiction author when they're written so very obviously by like teenage girls. My biggest pet peeve is that guys are not allowed to like have gay romance without being completely losing a big chunk of their character, or being like completely losing any sort of hint of like masculinity they have. And I know that sounds like the kind of comment that would come from a fucking podcast haver, but the sort of obsession a lot of fanfiction writers who sort of fetishize gay romance have of, oh, we need to strip every ounce of sort of like anything masculine. We basically have to turn them into the most feminine characters ever in order for this gay romance to be going forward. We can't actually just have two characters be gay. Everything about them has to be now molded around this character trope. I fucking hate that, because sometimes I'll read a fan fiction and I'm like, oh, there's this ship. That's cool. Like, I've never seen these two characters ship together. This could be a cool romance, right? And then the author proceeds to just gouge every other trait out of this character that I once enjoyed, because they can't possibly be gay if they're also problematic in any way. Like, that's another thing as well of like, the moment somebody becomes gay, they lose all of their problematic behaviors. And it's like, just because they're gay doesn't mean they're a good person. You can be an asshole and just like men. There's nothing that's not illegal. It's this weird, I don't know. I think it comes with sort of the fetishization of like gay romance, where gay ships and whatnot are viewed as like the good. Like, a lot of people will like overcompensate and are like, oh no, this is the good one. It's not straight. It's the gay ship, and therefore they just take away It's like, I feel like it's more humanizing to just have, like, you can have a gay character just be an asshole. They can still be a dick. As long as you don't make them being a dick part of their sexuality, they can still just be a dick. And in fact, it's actually more humanizing. It's like, I don't care that you suck dick. I care that you murdered a family of 4. Can we please be gay and do crime? And it's, okay, here we go. We're gonna have a real self-discovery thing, and we'll be very open about something. I had a period of time when I was like a teenager, right, where I thought, I was like, dude, do I have like homophobic tendencies or something? Because I found myself being made very uncomfortable by like sort of any sort of BL fan fiction, right? So anytime I read a fanfic and it turned out like there was like male on male romance in it, I was like, oh no, I don't want to read that anymore. And I ended up having a real crisis of character in it, because I was like, fuck, is there like some shit I need to address here? What's going on? And I was like that for a while, and I had this sort of real panic inside me of, shit, do I have problematic sort of, well, not instincts, but I have like problematic thoughts deep inside me. And then I didn't really fully get over it until, I don't know if you guys have seen The Last of Us, but one of The Last of Us episodes, it's like episode 3, I think, 2 or 3. Genuinely probably one of the most beautiful episodes of television I've ever seen. It's obviously, I think it's like episode 2 or 3, so you don't need to have watched the entire series to see it, but you could watch it on its own. You could watch the previous episodes, but you could watch it on its own. That is pretty recent. It was sort of like an ongoing thing I had internally. Like, it was weird because there were some gay romance stories that I've read that I didn't have any problems with, but there was also a few times where I'd like read fan fiction of it and I'd be like, oh, I don't like this, and I get turned off, and I had this sort of real crisis of character. And then I watched that episode and I was like, dude, this is beautiful. I fucking loved it. I thought it was amazing. I thought it genuinely is one of my favorite episodes of television, and it depicts a very like intimate gay romance. Like, they kiss, they don't fully depict, like, they don't fuck on camera, but they get close. And I was like, okay, I don't have a problem with that, but I had a problem with these other stories. Like, what the fuck's going on? And I realized the reason I had a problem with other stories is because it was like this weird, a lot of gay fan fiction is very fetishized. It's very not performative, but it's very written in a way that doesn't actually view gay characters as characters, weirdly. And I think that's what I was picking up on. And I think it came from early in my like teenage years reading fan fiction and stumbling upon like BL fanfics and watching them just kind of butcher my favorite characters and butcher these series that I loved, because it's very clearly written from like the perspective of, I don't want to say it's written from the perspective of a fangirl, but it is kind of written from that perspective of teenage girl that weirdly fetishizes these gay guys. And I realized that was what like was sticking in my brain, and that was why I was so like against some fan fictions like that. Wasn't because I wasn't being homophobic. I hated bad writing. You guys ever have that crisis as a character where it was like, am I homophobic or do I just hate bad literature? But I actually went back after that and I tried to find some specifically like in some of my favorite fandoms, I tried to find some like BL fanfics, and there's some good ones. And I don't have a problem with them. Apparently, when it's written well, I don't care. I can't believe Penn hates the gays. Well, that's the thing, is that like it's such a weird thing for me to worry about, because I'm so pro like LGBT and trans rights and all that. So it's not like a thing that I've ever worried about. But I had this sort of like this one hang up in the back of my brain where I was like, fuck, oh god, am I an asshole? And it's like, no, I'm not an asshole. I just have high standards. But dude, I remember, fuck, what fandom was it for? Wait a minute, I like men, I'm a VTuber, now your hatred of me makes even more sense. That is true, Roy, I'm sorry, you were my scapegoat for my hatred. It's... what fandom was it? Was it Ruby? I can't remember if it was Ruby or if it was like My Hero or something. But I remember there was a fan fiction I read for a fandom where every single dude in it was gay and had all of their sort of like any sort of traits that could be depicted in any way as masculine, like wanting to fight or wanting to like kill people or like being violent or being, all of that was stripped away in order for them to be the good boys. The only characters that kept any form of those masculine traits were the villains of the fucking story. And it became so quick to fucking pinpoint which characters were going to turn evil or which characters were bad, because if they didn't act like the softest person known to man, very clearly they were going to turn evil. And I was like, dang, this person really has some repressed issues. They should probably go seek out therapy. Ruby Chibi unironically uses the characters of Ruby better than Ruby, which I think is funny. My Hero does have a pretty bad fan base for that, which is, you know, unfortunate. It's also like, I remember seeing shit like that for like Naruto as well. There would be like Naruto fics, and if there was any sort of BL in the Naruto fics, automatically the guys became... I think I remember reading a fic, and it was like, they kill someone for the first time in Naruto, and they start like crying, and all the guys get together and like cuddle to make each other feel better. And I'm like, bro, they live in a world where child soldiers are the norm. Like, what is this story that you're writing? Like, oh, and that was the shit that made me think like, oh no, I'm not homophobic. I just don't like bad writing. Can we have a stream where you just read bad fan fiction? I'd be down to open up like a Discord channel where you guys could recommend bad fan fiction for me to read. That would be kind of funny. I enjoy a good fanfic, but I enjoy a bad fanfic better, and I'd be down to read them with you to see what y'all have, see what y'all think is bad. My Hero had people upset back a decade wasn't canon. I think the My Hero fan base's obsession with like shipping 14-year-olds is a little bit weird.
You know what, Penumbra? Fuck you.
Yo, Raymond, thank you for the super chat.
Same goes when they draw fan art of physically big characters into femboyish twigs.
Dude, yeah, let men be buff. Men can be buff and still be soft boys. Do not let the muscles deceive you, okay? Just because they're big hunks of muscle does not mean that they can't also be little soft guys on the inside. Stop typecasting buff men. Let them be soft. And let me be hard, okay? It's... oh god, it's great. I love yapping about fanfiction. It's a fun little reprieve because you realize how many other people also like fanfic, and it's great. I don't understand. My Hero is a fan base that scares me. Like, these are 14-year-olds. Leave them alone. That's also another unfortunate trope, I think, is that the weird sort of depiction of platonic friendships as being lesser than romantic ones, like that a relationship is not valid and valuable unless it's romantic, and this sort of like very simple belief that like, oh yeah, it goes platonic friendships and then above that that's romantic, and that's more. And it's like, some of my most important relationships I've had in my life have been with people that I have no romantic feelings towards. It's just been with like friends, right? Like platonic friendships and can actually be more significant and more impactful than romantic ones under the right circumstances. They don't have to be compared like that. And a lot of I think a lot of authors and whatnot kind of rewrite characters to be romantic purely because they want to explore a deeper relationship. And it's like, no, you can have deep relationships with characters without them necessarily having to be romantic. And that happens a lot with both guys and girls. Like you see, like there's no, you know, a male and a female character can't have a strong platonic friendship because automatically everybody's going, oh my god, they're fucking. And similarly, it's sort of like the inverse for a lot of guy characters, where it's like guy character, oh, they can't possibly be gay, they're just bros. But then you have people that take it too far the other way and feel like the only valid relationship for them is they have to be gay. They have to. I think the canonical arguments are the ones that annoy me the most, actually. I think that's what frustrates me, is like when two characters are like, two guy characters are like really, really close friends and really, really like platonically, they have like a very, very strong platonic bond, and the author has explicitly communicated that they have no romantic relationship with each other, they have no romantic feelings for each other, and then the fandom is like, oh, but they're so clearly gay, look at them, look at how much they love each other. And it's like, are you telling me you can't love someone unless you want to fuck them? Like, there has to be romantic intentions for, like, I don't have a problem with you shipping that, but if you're going to argue that it's canon, to me that communicates that you don't think that you can possibly love another person unless you want to stick your dick inside them, which is a little bit immature, I'm going to be honest. I could rant forever about fan fiction authors. It's my kryptonite. It's great. People being weird about the characters when the author's self-insert is a pervy. Oh, dude. Mineta from My Hero should have been shot out of a cannon and into a volcano. I don't get those characters. I don't understand. Mineta's the little purple fucking orb guy that is weirdly... Again, these are children. They just entered high school. Why do you have a character whose entire plot point is to just be fucking weird about the girls? I don't... sometimes anime bothers me sometimes, because you'll have a show that is like a 9 out of 10 and it's great and I love it, and then there's just like one character that just fucking ruins it for everyone. Ruins it, makes it hard to recommend to normal people getting into anime. Yeah, because like when you think about My Hero now, you think about like the later seasons, you're like, oh dude, this shit's kind of gas, like it's kind of peak. But then you forget that in like season 1, Mineta's there for some fucking reason, and it's like, oh right, forgot about that guy. Forgot he was in there. Whoopsies. I feel like it was originally meant to be a uni setting, but the last one he decided it should be a high school setting, and then you realize some people actually like that in high school. I wish My Hero was uni. I've been saying it for a while. Give me adult characters. Give me characters that are not in school. I think it being in uni would be a lot more compelling as well, because then they are adults, that they are making an active decision with their adult life. Because it being a high school is fucking weird when you think about it. The fact that they're training children to fight villains from the age of like 14 is weird. It should be a uni, realistically. I don't understand authors' desire, like their allergy to having older characters. I feel like there's some, it's specifically like, it's not specifically a manga thing, because it happens in like young adult fiction as well, where there's sort of like this vibe that in order for the characters to be relatable and compelling, they have to be 17. It's like, just give me adult characters, dude. Give me like 23-year-olds. That's a cool age. Because like 23-year-olds still have no fucking clue what they're doing with their life. They're still not figured their shit out. But they have the autonomy to make decisions for themselves, which is interesting. I know it's published in Shonen Jump and whatnot, but it always comes at the cost of the world, I think. When you make a story that has massive events happening in the world of your story, and those events all revolve around the actions of teenagers, I think it hurts your underlying world building. Because, how do I phrase this? The best example is like Ruby, right? In Ruby, in like the first season of Ruby, the entire fate of the world in the first like 3 novels or whatever, and the entire fate of like a city purely solely hinges on the actions of like 4 15-year-olds, right? And when you write that and when you make that the plot line for your story, you are immediately discrediting the entire rest of your world, because where are the adults? Like where are the people that are in charge that are meant to like protect against this kind of thing? Where are the, you know? And I get that it's there to kind of give like the Saturday morning cartoon vibe of like, ah yeah, the kids have to save the day, and that's fine if you're keeping a Saturday morning cartoon vibe. But the moment you then try and jump your world into a sort of more mature, realistic plotline, you fucked yourself. Because in what world would a group of 17-year-olds be responsible for the protection of a city? Said that they romanticize high school, so they tend to write characters in high school, but they really don't need to be. I think it's writing a story about the mysterious background force that keeps killing all the adults with agency in anime settings. It's the thing is, right, in Ruby there is actually like, there could be an in-world reason for that, of like, hey, the adults just keep fucking dying because they work in a very dangerous job and the life expectancy of a hunter is like 4 years, but they never actively address that. Like, they never actually make that part of the work. I think if that's part of your world building, that's kind of cool, because you have a moral justification for child soldiers, which is like, hey, W. But unless you actively say that, like, I don't know, Kaiju number 8 is about 32 euros and it's fantastic. Dude, adult storylines are great. That's another thing that I fucking hate in like anime and fan fiction, of characters that are just like allergic to any sort of upfrontness with their emotions. Like, and it's because it's all kids, right? It's like 16-year-olds, and it's like, yeah, of course he's a 16-year-old with a crush, he's gonna act like a 16-year-old. But like, I feel like modern mature romance is a lot more compelling. Like, give me a 26-year-old that is actually able to go up to a woman and talk to her and not act like a fucking buffoon. Like, that is a lot more interesting to me. It's also weird because so much of romance anime revolves around the initial confession, like the initial getting together and like admitting you like each other, when in reality, yo Katita, welcome in. Love your news, your voice is cute. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for being a VTuber news. You're my favorite. I appreciate that. It's very nice of you to say. Welcome in. We're yapping about fan fiction and romance anime. Very, very masculine, very mature topics. But yeah, I think it's weird because I feel like a lot of the more compelling moments in a relationship come out when you're in a relationship, right? Like, after the initial confession, when you actually get into the relationship, I feel like that's when the actual interesting story beats happen. But every anime and every fan fiction out there seems to be dead set and be like, nah, they confess, now that's it, GG, story over. We accomplished the goal of the story, which was getting 2 16-year-olds together, which, as we all know, once 2 16-year-olds get into a relationship, it's an ironclad contract. Nothing would ever get in the way of that. 2 16-year-olds deciding that they like each other is an unshakable foundation. Nothing has ever changed after that fact. In fact, every high school relationship always lasts all the way until adulthood. That is actually an unironic fact. I don't know. I wish there was more. It's weird. I wish there was more anime that had... Yo, Rachel, thank you for the follow. That had actual relationships depicted, but I also wish there was more anime that had zero romance. I do hate that the underlying motivation for a lot of anime ends up being romance, or that there's always like this weird side plot into romantic territory. I don't think we need it. But it feels like a lot of authors feel like unless there's a romantic side plot or a romantic motivation, then nothing matters. But like you can have interesting plot lines and you can have character motivations that aren't just, you know, romance. Asexual anime. We need more asexual anime. It's also, I really wish there was more anime and whatnot with like characters with strong convictions, if that makes sense. I feel like so many anime have characters where they have like quote unquote strong convictions, but the strong convictions are like, I want people to be happy. I want the world to be a better place. I want to do generic good boy thing. But I wish there was more anime where it's like, you know, I want to do this specific thing. I have a very specific goal in mind and I have very specific actions that I want to do to get there, and I'm going to do those actions, and I have very strong morals and commitment. Like villains. I want more anime protagonists to be like villains. Because it feels like in the majority of anime, you have the protagonist, which just kind of sits around waiting for the villain to do something. And then the villain does something, and then the character's like, oh no, we have to reset the status quo. And then they go out and they fight the villain, and they make it all better. Yippee. And then they go back to the basic bit shit they were doing before. I want a protagonist that is like a villain, that goes out and proactively does shit and has like their own motivations and is actively causing problems for things, right? And I think that's more compelling. I think it's interesting. Reason why I don't see stories like that is a lot of people that write fan fictions have never been in relationships. Probably a lot of introverts over there. What's a realistic conviction? Oh, let me try and think of like a story that I think is good and a story that I think is bad. Okay, a story that I think is bad would be, or a conviction that I think is bad would be like Naruto becoming Hokage in Naruto. Because while it is actually an interesting conviction, it is an interesting goal, Broski makes no fucking steps towards achieving that goal at all. He takes no proactive steps to being Hokage. He never really goes out of his way to like fucking train or get stronger. He doesn't read. He doesn't research what like being ninja president would actually require. Like he doesn't do any proactive work to getting to his goal. He just kind of does anime protagonist stuff and then stumbles into it later in the series, right? A good motivation that I think would be is Demon Slayer. Now, Demon Slayer isn't the most compelling story of all time, but I do like that Tanjiro has a very set in stone goal. Like he has a very, I want to cure my sister. Everything I do in this journey is for the purpose of curing my sister. Everything is done with that mentality. Because I think it would have been very, very simple for the author of Demon Slayer to be like, oh yeah, Tanjiro's family got killed by talk about anime without romance. I remember one called Gugu. Oh wait, I think I've heard about that. Kokiri-san, but a girl who lives alone and stuff. I've not read it or seen it, but I think I've talked to people about it. Sports anime is actually quite good for this, of having like a goal where like Haikyuu, I think Haikyuu has the lowest stakes possible, but I think is compelling as an anime because the goal of the anime is I want to be good at sports, and then everything they do is with that mentality, and it's a very realistic conviction. And it also doesn't demonize the opponents. Like it's not I want to beat this person because he's an asshole, I want to beat the other team because they're all a bunch of dicks. Like it's I want to be good at sport, and the opponents that we face along the way, I want to beat them, but they're not assholes, they're not bad people, and it's not a villain story. Like there's no villains, we're just playing volleyball. That's also why I like Demon Slayer, because I think it'd been very simple for the author of Demon Slayer to make it a story about revenge and be like, oh, the demons killed Tanjiro's family, now he wants to kill them all. But it's not. Like, the demons killed his family, but Tanjiro doesn't go out there being like, I want to kill demons because I hate demons, rah, and then go on some sort of angsty rant about them, right? I think they do a really good job of making Tanjiro actually empathetic towards the demons and actually an empathetic character, while also having an in-world reason to kill demons and actually have a motivation for his actions. I think it's actually why I think Demon Slayer's at pretty, like, kind of peak shonen, because it is still at its core a shonen anime. It has very shonen tendencies. Like everything about it is shonen core fucking to the extremes, but the way it depicts its main character and the way the plot is moved forward is super compelling in its own right. Tanjiro isn't a generic revenge protagonist. He's not a generic hateful protagonist. He's not even a generic like sappy protagonist. He kills demons because he knows he has to. He's brutal towards demons. He murders them when he needs to, and he doesn't give them mercy. But he's not angry at them, and he doesn't hate them, and he doesn't scorn them. He's empathetic while still being strong enough to do what he needs to do. And I think anime specifically kind of struggles with that. I feel like in anime generally, especially like male characters in anime, are generally either like the most angsty motherfuckers who kill for like any reason and are more than happy to chop down a motherfucker for slighting them, or the most crybaby, would never hurt a soul, everything can be solved with good words and vibes, 14-year-old. And both of those are a bit annoying. Like if you have a character that is just constantly killing and doesn't give a shit and is edgy and angsty and has no empathy at all, you kind of get numb to it, and it's like, okay, they're going to kill this guy, whatever. But if you have a character that refuses to hurt people and refuses to kill people when they need to and refuses to do any sort of harm in a world where that would make sense, that is also fucking annoying. Like the fact that Naruto lives in a ninja world where they are basically child soldiers and yet somehow gets to like the age of 20 without killing anyone is absurd to me. I think Demon Slayer strikes a good balance between that of like, hey, character kills things. He will no mercy kill shit, but he doesn't love it. He doesn't like revel in it. Jujutsu Kaisen I think is also a good example of that. Jujutsu Kaisen is also to me a good concrete protagonist motivation of, it could be very generic of like, I like people. I like people being happy. I'm going to protect my ninja, like that shit. But Yuji's whole motivation isn't, I don't think people should die. It's like, I don't think people should die in the wrong way. I don't think people should go out suffering or alone or crying. And his hatred of curses stems from their murdering of people in ways that is horrific. It's not, he doesn't live in this world where nobody dies, nobody ever gets hurt. He is very specifically motivated to, I think people should die a good death, which I think is pretty interesting for a protagonist. Didn't Naruto kill Kakuzu? No. The anime literally goes out of its way to not have Naruto kill Kakuzu. Naruto hits Kakuzu with a fucking hydrogen bomb, right? My man nukes Kakuzu out of existence. He hits him with the full concentrated power of a tornado. But the anime specifically goes out of its way to make sure Kakuzu survives. Kakashi's the one that kills him. Kakashi's the one that comes along at the end after Kakuzu's been wiped out and kills him instead. Because, of course, we can't have our golden boy protagonist kill a man, even though that we live in a world where that... it's so frustrating. Brother Demons being really rude to each other and Tanjiro being the mediator for both. I cry like a baby. I love Tanjiro. I think Tanjiro is probably one of my favorite shonen protagonists. I actually really like, I think this recent era of shonen protagonists has actually been a lot better. I think like the newer protagonists like Tanjiro, Yuji, what's another shonen? What's another recent shonen protagonist? Frieren, I guess, technically. I don't think that's a spoiler for Demon Slayer. Brother Demons is not super specific. There's a lot of brother demons out there. Dandadan. I could yap about Dandadan. Dandadan and I have a very complicated relationship. One Piece I've not watched fully. I've watched a bit of One Piece, but not a ton. Plot is byproduct of Luffy's motivation is also not necessarily a good person. Do you know what's a good protagonist? Hunter x Hunter. Gon is just batshit insane. I hate Dandadan. I struggled with Dandadan. I struggled to like Dandadan because I feel like Well, for one, there's a weird vibe to Dandadan where it doesn't... Gon is just a little silly. I love Gon being just actually batshit insane and needing therapy. Hey, Dologs. Dologs, I wanted to raid into you yesterday, but you finished stream before I could raid into you. You went live after I started, and you were finished before I ended, which means I couldn't raid into you. Shame on you. How dare you be busy and have other things that you're doing in your job. You should just stream for 9 hours at a time. But Dandadan, I think I struggled with Dandadan of... You have throat problems? Unforgivable. Sorry, that's my bad. I'll be gentler next time. I think my issue with Dandadan is that it can't seem to decide if it wants to be silly, goofy, aha, or if it wants to be serious, have very serious, disturbing topics. So like there's a lot of weird sexual assault that happens in Dandadan, and that's a little bit uncomfortable, but it's like, hey, if you're going to give that the weight it deserves and you're going to treat it like a very serious topic of like, hey, this is sexual assault, there's some weird shit happening, but then they don't, and it becomes a silly haha joke, and it's like, oh, that's weird. But then they'll also have serious moments with their characters, and I'm like, okay, do you want to be a serious show or do you want to be a meme show? It feels like you're kind of splitting hairs here. I also don't like meme shows, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a huge fan of shows where like the entire plot is like absurdist comedy, where it's like, haha, guys, weird thing happened. Funny, right? It's like Gintama, but I think Gintama is better. Even though I still wasn't a huge fan of Gintama either. Yeah, I think my issue with Dandadan was like, it sort of bounced between like, hey, we're very serious, we have very serious sad backstory, and hey, we're goofy, aha, and it's like, pick one. Like, because if you don't treat the comedic issues with the weight that they need, how am I meant to know when something is meant to be serious or whether it's meant to be a joke, right? Like, if you're going to have a character basically get sexually assaulted as a joke, how am I meant to know when something's meant to be fucking serious? Like, how am I meant to have sympathy or empathy for a character's dark backstory when objectively a worse thing happened to a character on screen and you didn't give that any of the weight it deserved? I also hate the way dialogue is written in Dandadan. Dialogue in Dandadan is some of the most unrealistic dialogue I've ever seen in an anime, and it might just be a translation thing, but I don't think it is. Characters in Dandadan speak like they are the draft notes for the conversation. They just say exactly what they're feeling and thinking at every moment. It is literally like, hello character B, I feel this way because of this. This thing happened to me and it made me feel like this. And then I think this because of this. And I feel this way about you and I did this action because of this action. And it's like they are very like, hey, let me just tell you all of my feelings right now explicitly and not have any nuance. And it's a bit weird. It's a bit jarring. The way Dandadan handles some things make me suspicious side-eye to the author, even more so than when I give the 7 Deadly Sins author. It is weird. I have this thing where it's like, unless you are explicitly using sexual assault as a very like seriously handled plot point for a character, which you can do it. Goblin Slayer, I think, made that a good character developing thing of like, hey, this is why the goblins are monsters. They aren't just animals trying to survive. They aren't just a part of the ecosystem. They are fucking vile creatures. And here, we're going to show you explicitly why they're vile creatures. I think if you're doing that, it's okay, as long as you respectfully handle it. I do not like it when it's like a side joke or a side beat or something, because it leaves a sour taste in my mouth. And it is like one of those things of like a red flag of like, I don't know how much I trust that author anymore. That is like a 16-year-old girl and you're having her be like weirdly handled on camera. I don't know if I'm not accusing you on anything, but some bells are ringing, bro. Also, the depiction of the whole main girl is like way more competent than she really should be, and it's weird. It is sort of weird. It is like, they have like the weird sexual vibes and stuff, but then they also have very like strong fan fiction OC things of the main character, the main girl character is like weirdly competent at everything. The first, like, she unlocks her power and immediately is just like amazing with it and can do anything with it and it's just like incredible. Like, it's weird. I don't know. It's the anime as a whole gives me some weird vibes. Feels like every shonen character. It kind of is. I don't want to watch Dandadan. I'd recommend trying it out. Ultimately, these are just sort of like my criticisms that I'm thinking of. Dandadan is very much a vibe-based show, which is probably why I don't like it. It is very much a show that you watch for entertainment. Like, you sit down and you watch it and you're like, I am entertained for 20 minutes, and then you go and you do something else. It's not really a plot that you're meant to sit down and analyze or think of. It's purely meant to be an entertainment show. So I would recommend checking it out, because you might watch it and be like, hey, I'm entertained, I like it, whatever. And that's fine. It's okay. It's just for me, when I'm watching it, I'm like, I think my brain is turned on too much during it, where I'm like, I struggle to turn my brain off in anime, which I know a lot of people give as like a suggestion for how to watch certain shows. Like, oh, just turn your brain off and enjoy it. And I'm like, but I can't, because I like my shows. I like my shows to be brain on. I like my shows to be like, hey, I need to think about the world here. I need to think about the characters. What are the plot developments? What is going on? I'm not a big fan of shows where it's just like, yeah, just sit down and watch it for 20 minutes and have a good time. So shows like that tend to not be for me. So I'm not a huge fan of slice of life shows. I need shit to be happening. Like, give me a plot, give me character development, give me motivations and whatnot. Ghost Stories dub is the only exception, mainly because it's actually funny. And I think that is also a big reason why I'm not a huge fan of slice of life shows and anime and whatnot. I don't think anime is funny. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think 99% of anime is just not funny. 99% of the time the joke is like, oh haha, someone got hit in the face. Oh haha, somebody has titties and they got grabbed. Isn't that funny, chat? Guys, you know, there's a woman on screen and panty shot. Isn't that fucking hilarious? It's like, no, it feels like all the comedy is written by a 5-year-old. And it's, I can't remember the last time a joke made me laugh in an anime where I was actually like, dude, that shit is funny. Like, all the jokes are, I don't know how to describe it. It's always like slapstick. It's like the most basic form of humor. However, there's a few things, there are a few anime that are out there that are funny. The Ghost Stories dub is hilarious. What's another like funny joke? Grand Blue, that's the one. Grand Blue can be real funny, even though Grand Blue has a lot of the same slapstick humor, but it's done in a way that is a bit funnier. Fuck, what's another? What's another like funny anime that I've watched? I'm genuinely struggling to think of one. Kaguya is actually quite funny. I think Kaguya has some of the same humor, but Kaguya, like the rap scenes in Kaguya does slapstick really funny. Like the Kaguya slapstick where like the president is trying to learn volleyball and shit and he just fucking smacks himself in the back of the head. That's kind of goofy funny. Because there's a joke in there about like his own incompetence and his own being bad at sports and like how uncoordinated he is. It's not just character A hits character B, cue laugh track. Nichijou can be quite funny. Attack on Titan. See it all along in 2 days. I don't understand anything of it. Attack on Titan is one of those ones where it is a bit convoluted unless you watch the entire thing back to back. I dropped Attack on Titan in like season 4. Dude, Zombieland Saga is funny as well. I love Zombieland Saga. Zombieland Saga is also really funny. Again, there's some slapstick in it, like the girl getting hit by a truck, but it's framed in a way that is actually genuinely funny. Mob Psycho 100 can be funny. Toradora is an example of, I think, that exact type of humor. I think the humor in Toradora wasn't funny. I didn't like the humor side of Toradora. I do think Toradora has an interesting characters though, and I love the music in Toradora. Like the music in Toradora is great. Mob Psycho. What are the other like funny anime? Was it Alia? I think Alia had some funny things. The Alia-san hides her feelings in Russians or something. I think that was quite funny. Because it's sort of like the inverse of the joke, where the character is meant to be all cool, calm, and demeanor, but she's actually like a massive sap, but she doesn't know it. I have not seen Space Dandy. Saiki K I know is really funny as well. Oh wait, Too Many Losing Heroines as well. That fucking scene in the cafe. Like there's a few ones that have been kind of funny. Dungeon Meshi was alright, I think. I'm trying to see if there's any more that I've watched this year that I'm like, yeah, this shit was funny. But I can't see any. I'm just scrolling through like my anime list. But yeah, I don't know. Humor in anime is weird. I don't know. It may be a cultural difference. It may be like a translation issue. I don't know what causes it. But it does feel like there's just like a weird humor gap. It might be a cultural thing because I've seen there's a lot of Japanese game shows that are like that. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but a lot of time, anytime I look at like a Japanese game show clip, the joke is always that somebody like fell over or got hit or got like pied in the face or ate something weird. So I don't know, it might be a cultural thing. I don't know if slapstick is like super popular in Japan maybe. 100 Girlfriends is really funny. I feel like Japanese shows are really funny to us because they're so fucking absurd. Gamers was actually quite fun. I remember Gamers having a few funny scenes. Gamers was really funny because Gamers took the very typical anime trope of misunderstanding bullshit and just kind of amped it up to 10 and let that shit fly. Like there's so many scenes in that anime where it's like character A thinks it's one thing, character B misunderstands character A and thinks it's the second thing, character C misunderstands character B, and so you end up at the end where like every single character in the scene has no fucking clue what's going on. It's kind of peak. I have not played Mortal Kombat. No, I have played Mortal Kombat. I haven't played it recently. I played it years ago. Fighting games, I'm gonna be honest, I'm dog shit at fighting games and I'm not a huge fan. I've never been really good at them and I've never really been a really big fan of them, so it's always been my eternal dilemma with fighting games. Why is my throat so sore today? I keep drinking Dr. Pepper, but it's not fixing it, and I feel like I'm being lied to. Because I know for a fact Dr. Pepper is the solution to all problems. They wouldn't call it Dr. Pepper if it wasn't a solution to your medical issues, right? But I'm drinking it, and it's not making my throat feel better, so like, what the fuck? Really hard to translate a gag manga. It is. I mean, you're always going to struggle as well because a lot of humor, especially English humor, is like word-based, right? It's like puns and like wordplay and like switching one word for another word and blah, 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 right? And that's really hard to do in a different language. It's really hard to translate wordplay into a different language, which means if you're watching like sub, then you're always going to have those like that not really translate properly. It's why I think dub is unironically funnier. Like if you're watching a comedy anime, I don't normally like dub, but I think a lot of the time the dub is the funnier way to watch something. What was it I watched recently that it was like had a really funny dub? True test of anime viewers at heart to find out the cried at Your Lie in April. Your Lie in April was good. I didn't cry at it though. I don't really cry at shows. I've never cried at like a piece of media. And I know that might be weird, but I don't know. I think that the sadder a show is, the less likely I am to cry. Just because there's always a part of me that is like, the author deliberately wrote this in order to make you cry. And then like that part of my brain triggers and it's like, well, they deliberately wrote this to make you cry, therefore you shouldn't cry because it's just like it's been manufactured that way. It's sort of like, I feel like the saddest shows and the saddest movies or whatnot are not ones that are deliberately meant to be sad. They're not ones that are deliberately like sad shows. It's when like a sad thing happens in an otherwise like happy, fucking wholesome show. It's the worst pain you've got, like ever. The worst pain I ever experienced was when I had my liver biopsy a while back, and they hit a nerve in my diaphragm that apparently refers pain to your shoulder, and also they put like gas in there which bubbled up to my shoulder as well, and it was like, oh, at least that's what the nurse says. I don't know if I believe the nurse. I don't know if they were just telling me that to make, because they didn't know what was causing the pain, and so they were going with that to like give me a reason. But either way, whatever happened, I woke up from that biopsy and I tried to wrestle a nurse. Genuinely, I was throwing hands with the nurses because I woke up and I was confused and in pain. Anime I cried the most at is One Piece because I was the most attached to those characters. I think that makes sense. It's sort of like how I can acknowledge that Naruto is a pretty poorly written show, but I've been watching it. Like, Naruto came out before I was born, so like I've had it most of my life, so you know there's still that emotional attachment there. Yeah, I don't know. I think that makes sense. I don't know. I'm not really one to cry at anime or to feel super sad about it. But there's been a few out there. I'm trying to remember what show it was. There was one show I remember watching where I was like, damn, this shit is sad. Fuck, what show was it? I can't actually remember. Trying to see if I can find it on my thing. Again, actually, the show that came the closest recently, it didn't make me cry, but it did make me sad, like very, very sad, was that episode of The Last of Us. That shit was sad. Last of Us as a whole isn't particularly sad. It didn't really pluck my heartstrings too much, but that one episode fucking hit. Proud of you for getting it in drama tubing, catching the extreme. I'll catch you later, Whiteboard. Thank you for dropping by. Last of Us is good. Would highly recommend it. I don't know what the second season's like yet. I'm too scared to watch the second season because I hated the second game. And so I'm a bit scared to watch the second season if I hate that as much as I hated the second game. But I should probably sit down and watch it at some point. God, my throat is killing me. Fuck me. I've been drinking Dr. Pepper every second sentence, but it is just not going away. I don't think I'm sick. I haven't been outside in like a week. Which, yeah, I know, reflects how unhealthy I am. I'm aware. You don't have to tell me. One girl's rant from if supernatural battles were commonplace. That is a really good rant. Do you know what I love about that scene as well? People talk about the voice acting in that scene, and that scene is great voice acting. But the thing I love more is that it's an actual interesting, like, argument relationship-wise between two characters. Like, it's not one that is very clear-cut one way or another. It's actually an interesting conflict between two characters where one person isn't so very clearly in the wrong, and then they fuck that all up by having it resort back to generic harem bullshit in like the next episode. That scene makes me mad more than sad, because every time I watch it I'm like, man, this show could have been gas, and then you fucked it up. You done fucked it up, because the whole argument is like, this guy is very like toony, like, which basically means he's very like into super nerdy, edgy shit. He's constantly acting like he's got like some secret power in his right arm, and he's constantly nerding out about cultic shit and like eldritch horrors and talking about magic and whatnot. Like, he's a massive fucking nerd. And this girl that likes him doesn't enjoy that shit. Like, isn't super into the nerd shit, isn't super into the same type of stuff that he is. But she likes him, and she's known him her entire life, so she learns it. She like learns a lot of the stuff he rants about. She takes an interest in his interest, and she learns what she can to the amount that she can, you know, kind of endure, right? And this has been going on for years as the two of them have been friends. And then he gets another girlfriend, not a girlfriend, but a girlfriend, who's writing her own like light novel, and she's obviously super into all that shit as well. Like, she's super into like the nerd shit, the writing tropes, all the same stuff. They're kind of equally nerdy as each other. And this guy is on the phone texting this girl about all this shit. And girl A, the first one, asks like what he's talking about, and he kind of brushes it off, being like, hey, you wouldn't get it, you wouldn't understand it, it's not for you. And she flips her shit, and she goes on one of the biggest like voice acting tirades ever. It's genuinely an impressive feat of voice acting. Like, I would highly recommend checking it out. It's generally regarded as like one of the best voice acting performances ever. If you Google anything about voice acting, like the best voice acting in anime, it will probably pop up, because it's kind of been memed on as that scene that is like the quote-unquote best voice acting. But it's an interesting dilemma. And she goes on a big rant about how she doesn't understand why he thinks the things he thinks are cool, and why he's into them, and why he can't just speak in normal English. And she gets really frustrated because he keeps like getting a passing knowledge in one thing and then claiming, like, acting like he knows all about it, and then jumping onto the next thing and getting a like, he jumps around from like weird nerd interest to weird nerd interest. Hey, Rivets. And so she's sort of yapping and ranting about how she's like spent their entire formative years trying to keep up with his nerd bullshit, trying to follow along with his nerd hobbies, trying to learn what she can. And it doesn't matter how much she learns, that it's never like enough, because he'll then hop onto a new thing and be yapping a whole different language again. And it's sort of an interesting character dilemma, because on one hand, she's right. Like, the guy has made no effort to really learn about her interests, no effort to really, you know, connect with her. Doesn't really commit to any one hobby or anything, just kind of goes along and does whatever he so pleases, right? And then when the moment another girl comes along that expresses an interest, he kind of immediately hones in on her and yaps with her, and tells the first girl that's been with him for years to kind of, that it doesn't concern her, that she wouldn't get it. And so it's an interesting character dilemma, because on one hand, sure, he could be depicted as an asshole, but on the other hand, he never asked her to take that much of an interest. He never asked her to be that invested in his bullshit. He never tried to push his hobbies on her. They were just his hobbies, and she, because she liked him romantically, was like really wanted to like bond with him and connect with him and like have the same interests. So she kind of really tried to push to be in those same hobbies. He never pushed them on her. So it's sort of this case of like her desperately trying to be into the same shit he is, not being into the same shit he is, and then flipping out because they're not into the same shit. But he is also has the emotional intelligence of a fucking rock. So it's an interesting character dilemma. It's an interesting moment, and then the character ruins it, because the next episode she gets like kidnapped or something, and then she gets saved, and then everything is better. All of our previous relationship issues, they didn't happen because I got kidnapped and was a damsel in distress. And that show makes me want to punch walls. God fucking damn it. I hate that show. I hate that show because it was on the edge of peak, and it fell into the abyss of mid. He is definitely autistic. Don't get me wrong. That man is the most autistic individual in anime. Well, actually, probably not. Who's the most autistic anime character? Goblin Slayer, probably. Goblin Slayer got that trauma autism. That trautism. Okay, my throat is killing me. Fuck me. Have I watched Bungo Stray Dogs? I have not, but I've been waiting to. Bungo Stray Dogs and Durarara are two that have like been on my list for like 10 years that I've just never sat down and watched, that I definitely need to sit down and watch at some point. I've just never actually sat down and like committed to it, but I probably should at some point. BSC is peak trust. I'll push it up on the docket. I have no idea where my docket's at. If you actually went into my anime list and looked up all the shows that I've like got on my quote-unquote plan to watch list, it's long. There's a lot on there. I have no idea how many I'm actually going to end up watching. Let's see. I think I'm going to raid out. My throat's killing me. I want to rest it and go. It's probably because I was recording as well before this, so it's a combination of recording into streaming. But normally I can normally I can yap for infinite amount of time without ever calling it. Normally I'm fine. Normally I got more endurance than this, but my throat is genuinely trying to stab me. It's, you know the bit of your throat that sits like, it's like at the bend between your jaw and your throat. It's like where you know where your like lymph nodes are on the side. Like, it's in there. And I don't know what's causing it. I don't think I'm getting sick, because I've not been anywhere to pick anything up. But it's like in that spot between like the throat and the jaw, like on the left and right hand side. Allergy? I'm not allergic to anything. And it doesn't feel like inflammation, it just feels like a pain. It's like a scratchy throat. I enjoyed watching Back in Honduras after enjoying Dead Mount Deathplay. I've not even heard of that one, but I've heard of the first two. Baccano is another one. And Banana Fish as well, I think, is on there. I've got a bunch on my plan to watch list, bro. Let's see. Any suggestions for raids? I was planning on just sending like Twitch over to Nari, maybe. Nimi is live. I don't think Nimi has raids enabled, unfortunately. It's definitely a new disease that's going to make us all quarantine again. Oh god. Am I ground zero for the next pandemic? That would be kind of a crazy claim to fame. Can you imagine being that one person that ate that bat soup? That's absurd. Let's see. A pandemic? I hate you. Get out. How? You suck. I'd say Bree, given that you've used her tweet as content, but she pushed back stream. She did. You can't trust these fucking VTubers nowadays, can you? Wow, my throat hurts. I'm ending stream. Oh wow, I had a minor inconvenience, chat. I'm pushing back stream. Guys, I forgot to get my Dunkin' today. I didn't get my government mandated autism food. I can't possibly stream. I'm pushing back my stream for 10 days. And before Brie got hit by like a fucking car or something, and now I look like a dick. She says her body is vibrating. Could somebody please check up on these rabbit VTubers? They keep coming forward with very concerning symptoms and then be like, man, that's crazy. What could that be? And it's like, can you go to a doctor? Maybe. I feel like that would be a good suggestion. Let me see. Okay. Raids. I'm going to send you guys, Twitch, I'm going to send you guys over to Nari. She's cooking. She's doing some hand cam cooking streams. I have no idea what she's cooking, and I would not trust her to cook anything for me, but she's going to a doctor. Okay, good. A real doctor or like a VTuber doctor? A rabbit doctor? Let's see, who's live on YouTube that I can send you all over to? Let's see. Fucking Regis from Holostars is live. Wait, Regis from Holostars has raids enabled. Let's see. Who else? Nobody else is live on fucking YouTube. Nobody else is fucking live on YouTube either. Fuck, I don't like raiding into agency people. I always feel like I'm being annoying. Let's see. We could always raid into Bree's waiting room, I guess. on stream. Well, it's just, I know there's a lot of agency fans that don't love like any sort of news related content creator, so I hate to raid and kind of, you know. All right, raid's about to go to Denari. I think we just raid into, fuck it, we'll just raid into Bree's waiting room. Fuck it. Go wait in Bree's room and be nice and whatnot, because otherwise Nari's going to start talking to me and I'm not going to. Why is it not popping up? There we go. Okay, YouTube, you're going over to wait with Bree. Shout at her for delaying her stream, and also shout at her to go to a doctor. Wait, is she delaying her stream past the 12:30 or is she delaying it to 12:30? Has she pinned a message? Okay, well, whatever. If she doesn't end up going live, that's not my fault. I'll catch you guys later. I think Twitch chat has already left, so enjoy. Hi, bye. I don't know why I said hi. I meant to say bye. I'm having a little bit of a skill issue. I'll catch you guys later. My brain is scrambled along with my throat.